today we are doing 11.6 nonlinear functions, which are called, in this case, quadratics. What is a quadratic? Well, let's get into that today. So just to remind you, linear is a straight line. This was our y equals, you could have x plus b, which is really, we should have an m here because we always have a slope even if it's 1 or 0. So we have y equals mx plus b. That is our straight line. A nonlinear function is not a straight line, and there's several other graphs that are not a straight line, but we are going to focus today on the quadratic equation, which looks like this below. Here we have a picture of a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation forms what's called a parabola. So this red, it kind of looks like a U, but it's not a U because these flare out. So we can't call it a U. It is called a parabola. And their equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. And if you notice, this has a 2 here, which makes it a quadratic. So when its highest power is 2, you know that it is a parabola. Here, if you notice, our highest power with this x was just 1. So that makes it a linear equation when its highest power is 1. So here we have a highest power of 2. We know it is a parabola. Some things you need to know about a parabola are that this, where the two parabolas come to, or the two corners come together, is called a vertex. And the vertex tells you where the center of your parabola is. So that's where your axis of symmetry, which is a line that goes through the vertex, will cut the parabola in half. So if you're trying to find that line of symmetry, which in a parabola we call axis of symmetry, you know it must go through the vertex because that is the center of this parabola. Another important thing to remember about the axis of symmetry is that there is a formula that you are going to need to memorize, which is x equals negative b over 2a. You are going to use this formula right here when given an equation to find where that vertex would fall for that x coordinate, and we'll get into these in a specific example later. Another thing you want to know is that parabolas have maximum and minimum points. So if your parabola is opening upward, it has a minimum point because that's its lowest point, and you would have a positive a. That means that when you look at your equation, we can look right here, this a and what's connected to the x squared must be positive, and that means that your parabola opens up. You also have parabolas that will open downward. So here this one's opening downward. That means your a would be negative, and that would have a maximum point because that would be the highest point on the parabola. Here's how I remember this. If you have a positive a, your parabola is happy, it's smiling. If you have a negative a, your parabola is sad, it is frowning. So that's one way to memorize whether it's opening upward or downward. Again, a minimum point is its lowest point. A maximum point would mean it has a highest point. It's at the top of a hill. You can think of it that way. Let's get into a few examples here. The first couple ones here are going to ask you, is your function linear or quadratic? And if it is quadratic, tell whether it opens upward or downward. And again, that's going to be based on that a connected to the x squared. So what we want to do with this is we want to simplify. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to distribute negative 3 to both parts here. I'm going to have negative 3x minus 6. And now I can add 10x plus 7 to it. I have negative 3x and 10x is 7x. and negative 6 plus 7 is 1. So that means f of x equals 7x plus 1. So now that you've simplified it, you have to determine whether or not it is a quadratic or a linear function. Well, you need to look at your x value here. It is a 1. So that means, and it's its highest power, so that means that this is a linear function. Let's look at b. b, we need to be careful how we solve this one. Before you distribute 3, you must use something called foiling. This is where you multiply or distribute to each component here, and we've done it in several other sections, but you're going to multiply the first ones together, which is 4x times x. So 4x times x is 4x squared. And then you have 4x times negative 2, which is negative 8x. Then you have negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. And now you can simplify. I don't have anything common with x squared, but I know that negative 8 and negative 5x are going to give me negative 13x. And then I have 10 left over. I still have to, now that I've simplified this, distribute that 3. So I'm going to have 3 times 4x is 12x squared. 3 times negative 13 is negative 39x. And 3 times 10 is 30. Now that I've fully simplified this, I'm going to see if it's linear or quadratic. When I look here, I have my highest power is x squared. So that means that this is a quadratic equation or a quadratic function. And now I must tell whether my parabola opens upward or downward. So you want to look at what's connected to the x squared, and that is 12, and 12 is positive. So you have a positive a, which means that your parabola is happy, and so it's opening upward. It also means that it has a minimum point, which would be down here. It didn't ask that, I'm just throwing that in there just so you can see that. Let's look at example number 2. It says, find the equation of the axis of symmetry. This is where I was showing you that formula for the axis of symmetry, which is x equals negative b over 2a. So that is going to tell you where the axis of symmetry is going to cross through the x-axis. So we're going to look here. Remember, our quadratic formula is ax squared plus bx plus c. Well, in this case, our c is really like saying plus 0. We don't have a c. But we know that our a is 7 and our b is 3. And I'm getting that from here and here. And that's where they line up. My A is connected to the 7. My B is connected to the 3. I now can plug this into my formula. So I'm going to have negative B, which is, let me go ahead and just write it. Negative B, oh, and it doesn't want to let me erase, but negative B, which is 3. Don't mind my weird 3. Okay, negative 3 over 2 times 7. And that's really x equals if I plug it exactly into my formula. And I like to actually say the opposite of b because sometimes b might actually be negative, so you'll have the opposite of a negative number, which will be positive. In this case, 3 is positive, so it's just the opposite of 3. So we're going to have negative 3 on top. 7 times 2 is 14, so that means that x equals negative 3 over 14, and that fraction is where our axis of symmetry would cross and our vertex would be on that x value.